AJ, and this is nativerezmedia, your place for opinionated tech news, reviews, and entertainment. So you're sitting around your house, you've just purchased your brand new Steam Deck, you got a Switch, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series S or X, and you are now trying to figure out how do you get your gameplay to stream to YouTube, Twitch, some other streaming site. On a PlayStation 5, it has inbuilt capture software. On a Switch and on a Steam Deck, it doesn't. On the Steam Deck here, you might be able to put OBS on here and try to capture the footage, but you got to jump through a few hoops to get that done. The easiest way to do all of these things is to purchase yourself a capture card. This is a USB 3.0 capture card, 4K capture card. Well, it won't capture in 4K, and we'll touch on that a little bit later. Got a couple more of these. So I'm going to be going over a decent capture card to purchase, some to not purchase, what to look out for when you are purchasing a capture card. Let's jump right into this. All right, let me start recording on OBS here. I'm going to pull over my Amazon webpage. And as you see, for USB 3.0 capture cards, 1080p, 60 frames per second, 4K HDMI, put all that in, and it pulls up a whole wealth of capture cards. You're going to need a computer, obviously, something with USB 3.0 or USB C, some type of connection there. That's going to be high speed, high bandwidth, and there's a ton of capture cards. So I want to first start off by going over what you're looking for. So if you're capturing from a Switch or a Steam Deck, the output can be 1080p from a Steam Deck. Switch, it's 720p or 1080p, I believe, as well, especially when it's in docked mode. So you're going to want to have something that's going to be able to capture up to 1080p, 60 frames per second. Most of these, they say they can. I'm going to put an asterisk above that. This one here, for instance, capture card Nintendo Switch, 1080p, 60 frames per second. If you look at it, it's $38.99. You scroll down to the digit now, $29.99 with 10% off. Looks like it's the same thing. That's because it probably is. A lot of these manufacturers, here it is right here, I guess the manufacturer that makes this one might make those. And they just sell it to different distributors, different companies. They might put their name on it, sell it under their brand, and they might mark it up 10, 15 bucks, depending on if their brand has some sort of I guess, clout. And you might look here, for instance, right here at this Mirrorbox 3.0. Mirrorbox has a decent name, I guess, in the capture community, especially for budget capture cards. So they sell a decent amount of these things. But that doesn't mean you're not going to find this under a different name. And I can show you that right now. Let's go to Treslin. Hey, look at that. This looks similar to the Mirrorbox there. So there's different ones. They come by different names. And here we go. We can go to this one. Saiyeeka. Same looking box there. So let's go back here real quick. There we go. So we'll scroll on down here. Different types here. You got your digit now. You got some that have USB 3.0 attached to them. Whatever. So let's get to this. The ones that I purchased this one. This is the Mirrorbox 3.0 capture device. If you go to the Mirrorbox Amazon webpage, let me scroll all the way up here. Click on this one. This is the one that I have. It's $99.99 with $5 off, so 95 bucks there. I didn't purchase this from this site here. I got it actually from the Saiyeeka Amazon store, and it's no longer here because it's sold out. I'm assuming other people like myself probably were like, that looks familiar. Let me purchase that, because it was 25 bucks on this page. It's the same as this one here. And yeah, I purchased it. And if you look at this one's $25.99. And if you take a look at it, I want you to look. If you go to the Mirrorbox thing here, go to blue. Oh man, that looks slightly familiar. Look how much it is on the Mirrorbox site, or on the Mirrorbox webpage. $129.99. So you best believe I'm going to be purchasing this one from this page here and seeing if it does everything this one on the mirror box page says. This one did. It's the exact same one, and I'll get into that in another video. This is going to be probably a 2, maybe 3 part series. This video, I don't want it to be too long. So anyways, you got this one here, and then I also purchased this one here. This is the Moyun, some weird names there, but Moyun capture card 3.0 4K HDMI, and something that you will know and you'll see on each one of these, 4K. I'll tell you what, man, they really want to push that 4K, 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 4K. None of these will record in 4K, by the way, except for this expensive one from Mirrorbox. It says it records 4K 30 frames per second right there. But they will record, so they say, 1080p 60 frames per second. And that's what I want to really get into. A lot of these, even these budget ones, will say they will record 1080p 60 frames per second. You scroll down, support HDMI loop out up to 4K 60. Input resolution 4K 60. That's from the PS5 or whatever device you're streaming to this, or you're sending to this, you're outputting into this. And support record video signal 1080p at 60 frames per second. I can tell you this with certainty that this video, or this capture card, the Moyun one, doesn't. This one here by Lenovo, that's where I purchased it from right here, Lenovo, it doesn't either. The funny thing is, 2 years ago, this guy Justin Bay did a review on this one, the Lenovo capture card here, and yeah, it was recording at 1080p 60 frames per second. He said he even put video in here, and I can show you that. Video play looks smooth, looks like it is 1080p 60 frames per second. I was like, oh, pretty cool. Went to Amazon, found the Lenovo page here, purchased this card. It's less than what he paid for it 2 years ago. Technology comes up, price goes down, but this does not record 1080p 60 frames per second. And I'll probably get into all of that in the next video. So that's some of the stuff that you're going to want to look out for when scouring Amazon. Prices, prices, prices. A lot of these capture cards are the same capture card by different names. Some of them, same capture card, same name. They go inside. The chips are different. The internals are different. It's the same casing. But this capture card that I have, and the capture card, even though it may look the same here on Amazon, it might be able to record 1080p 60 frames per second. It's a hit or miss game. If you want to get capture cards that you know can record that 1080p 60 frames per second, or that you know they do what they do, you would want to go with something like this, the EVGA XR1. It's 73 bucks. Spend a little bit more money there. You're going to get the quality and assurance that this can record 1080p 60 frames per second. This is a well-known brand. They have this budget brand here, or the budget version of this card, and they have a more expensive version, the EVGA XR1 here. That is $152, and it just records higher level, higher frame rates, things like that. It's just things to look out for. You can go with the Elgato capture cards. They're going to be more expensive, but they're going to record clear, higher frames per second, 4K recording, things like that, but you're going to pay. So that's something to note. This video and the subsequent ones coming after this, it's just telling you, if you're going to be looking on the more budget side, what to look for as far as that. And before I stop this recording and go to the next video, I'm going to show you the difference between 1080p 30, 1080p 60, so that you can see the difference here. So let's close this out right there, and then I'm going to pull up a video using VLC media player, or is it VCL? I always get those confused there. So let me see here. Here we go. All right, this video here, 1080p 60 frames per second, 720p internal upscaled, and this was recorded on my Steam Deck going through the mirror box here. And you can see the footage is smooth, the clarity decent. It uses the internal FSR on the Steam Deck itself. I can turn up the internal scaling, or I can turn it to 1080p internally, but I probably won't get 60 frames per second, not with the Steam Deck. So let's go to a 30 frames per second video. Let me stop this, and let's see if I can find one that is 30 frames per second. Let's scroll up a little bit. There you go. So as you can see, 1080p, 60 frames per second, 30, but it's only playing at 30 frames per second. And I didn't touch it and make it 30 frames per second. The capture card just can only handle 30 frames per second. So internal on here, it's 720p. As you can see, this is 50, close to 60 frames per second, and it does not look as good as the mirror box capture card did at the 1080p 60 frames per second. And when I say look as good, I mean as smooth. That's what I'm showing you the difference of. Alright, and basically that's what I'm going to be going over in the next video. I'm going to be showing you how to hook these up, and I'll go through OBS, some of the settings that I've had so that you can see the difference. I also have a few other capture cards coming. The company Moyun, I reached out to them and I explained things to them. I was like, hey, this says it records 1080p 60, and they kind of were like, hey, it does record 1080p 60. I was like, no it doesn't. And they were like, well, we'll send you our upgraded box so that you can test that one out and see if it records 1080p 60 frames per second. I was like, cool. So that should be coming. And then again, I'm going to order that one that's 4K, $25 one from the mirror box. Well, not from here, not $129. I'm going to get the Saiyeeka version. I'm going to compare that one with these as well, and I'll give you an overview of all these. So if you're looking at one of these capture cards, stay tuned. Within the next week or so, I'm going to be putting out a couple of videos to show the difference between all of them, and hopefully I can help someone to make a better decision on one of these budget capture cards that they can use if they want to capture some of their console Steam Deck videos. With that being said, I'm going to let you guys go. Please subscribe if you want to see some of those other videos. You guys have a wonderful rest of the evening, rest of the day. Peace out.